Hi friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine and today we're going to be doing a holiday makeup look. I know Thanksgiving is coming up. This video is going to be posted before Thanksgiving, so if you want to slay in your living room, in your cousin's living room, in your aunt's living room, this is definitely the look to do. I feel like it's holiday, but it's very 2024 coded. We have lots of brown tones, reddish browns, cherry mocha vibes. I really love how this look came out. So if you want to see how I created it, keep on watching. Okay, so my brows are already done, and for my primer today, I'm going to be using the One Size Secure the Blur Primer. I feel like my pores have been so noticeable for some reason, especially like in this area. I'm also going to apply some to my T-zone, just kind of the upper center of my face. Not too close under the eye though. I want my skin to look really beautiful and natural, but still blurred and perfect. And I feel like this primer is a really good one for that. I feel like it's also slightly mattifying. Also gonna do a little on my upper lip. As always, we're going to color correct. I'm using the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Color Corrector. This is in the shade Papaya. You guys have seen me use this so many times. I use it pretty much every single time I do my makeup. It's just perfect for canceling out any hyperpigmentation. Always using my Sephora Pro Concealer 71 brush. For my foundation today, I'm using the LYS Beauty Skin Tint Stick. I'm in the shade DPN1. As I said, I want the skin to have a really beautiful natural look, but of course we still want coverage. And I've used this LYS stick, I believe, twice, and I thought the finish was gorgeous. Get into the shade match as well. And I'm using a really dense foundation brush. This is the Sephora Collection Pro Foundation 70 brush. For foundation sticks, I really like to use a dense brush because I feel like using one that is not dense enough will not spread out the product in the best way. So as you can see, the skin is very natural, but we definitely got some coverage. For my cream bronzer today, I'm using the Milk Makeup bronzer stick. This is in the shade Blitzed, and I'm gonna apply to my cheekbones. I'm going in with a pretty generous amount today. I'm also going to go in with the Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick. This is in the shade Sizzle, and I'm gonna apply it close to my hairline at the end of where we put the bronzer, and a little bit on my forehead as well, because I do want a little bit of a sculpt and snatch with this look. Not too much, which is why a majority of what I'm using is bronzer, but I do want a little bit more depth, so that's why I added a little bit of contour. Make sure you're always blending up when blending out cream bronzer and cream contour so that you're lifting and emphasizing your cheekbones instead of dragging them down. I'm gonna add a little bit more cream contour. Gorge. Perfect. Amazing. I'm just going back in with my foundation brush and tapping over the edges so they're not too harsh. For my cream blush today, I'm using the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Stick. This one is in the shade Pomegranate. It's this really beautiful pomegranate shade. I love this type of shade during the holidays. It's like a really deep purplish red, and it just gives me such a cozy feeling. I've been reaching for it a lot these days. Like, this is such the perfect shade of blush for the holidays. Like, how cute is that? Y'all know I love red blush so much as well, and I feel like this is kind of like a berry toned red blush. Absolutely. I love Makeup by Mario down. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. And I'm really making sure to keep the majority of the blush at the high points of my cheeks. But of course, as always, we want to blend it towards the under eye as well, but we want it to be the most pigmented at the highest point of the cheek. For my concealer today, I got back out my Anastasia Beverly Hills concealers. I am a little bit nervous because I'm not sure how these shades are going to show up on me. There was a video of mine that I watched on TikTok from a while ago where I used this concealer and it looked so yellow on me, but I don't remember which shade I used. Is it this one? Yeah. This is really yellow, so we are not gonna use that because I was trying to look at them in the bottles, but I was like, I don't know, maybe it'll work. I think I need to get some different shades because I've always been obsessed with a bright under eye, and sometimes I took it there a little too much. However, I did get out some new shades of my Huda Beauty concealer that I found in my collection because, as always, I do want my under eye to be bright, but maybe not too bright. This one is in the shade Butterscotch. This one is a little deeper than the shade that I would normally use. And I'm going in with a generous amount of that. And then to highlight, I'm going in with the shade Crumble. Again, this is a highlighting shade, but it's not as bright as the one that I usually use is. I believe that shade is called Caramel Corn. But I just love how these shades look together. I was like, why don't I use these ones more often? Before I blend out my concealer, I'm going to use my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. This is an OG. I feel like it really helps to blend my makeup in together, and I'm gonna let that dry. Also, if you are watching this during the holidays, please get yourself a Bath & Body Works candle. I'm trying not to like mess with it too much. I just wanted to show you real quick. This one is in the scent Merry Cookie. Let me put it back. I just love Bath & Body Works holiday scents. Like, they just smell so good. It's making my room smell just delicious and so cozy. I'm using this dual-ended brush from Say Beauty. I love this brush because of how I can use the bigger side to blend out the larger areas of my face, and then the smaller end for the smaller areas of my face. Like, look how quickly that blended out. Like, this is such a good brush. I think Say Beauty brushes in general are really underrated. Now I am just blending out my concealer. I'm not going to go into too much depth about how I blend it out. If you want a more in-depth explanation of how I do my makeup, I have just posted a detailed soft glam makeup tutorial, so definitely check that out because I go into depth about how I do my makeup, the brushes that I'm using, the products I'm using, how I blend, why I blend that way. But today we're focusing on the vibes because the vibes are holiday makeup. Now I'm taking my Danessa Myricks concealer brush. I love this brush, and I'm using this to blend out the lighter shade. I might be using these shades of concealer more often. Like, wow. I feel like these blended into my skin so well, and I really like how these shades look. It might not look that much different, but I don't know. This combo is working for me of Butterscotch and Crumble. To set my under eyes, I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is in the shade 330. Clearly I love her. I'm gonna be very sad when she runs out. And I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury powder brush. I always make sure to load the brush up with powder before, and then I go in and blend out any creases that may have formed while I was moving around. Yeah. I just think it's so satisfying setting my concealer because watching how smooth my under eye becomes. Yeah. I'm using the same powder in the shade 365. This is pretty much the same shade as my skin tone, and I'm using this Sephora Collection Powder 50 brush to apply it. And I'm gonna apply this on the rest of my face, but I'm gonna only lightly tap over where my cream blush and bronzer is because I kind of like the luminosity peeking through, and I don't want to be super matte today. We'll see how that turns out because somehow I always come out still very matte. But I do not like a oily or dewy T-zone, so I'm gonna make sure to powder down my forehead. Like, the forehead, the nose, they're gonna be powdered down boots because I hate when my forehead is shiny. I'm hitting my eyebrows as well. Now I'm going to be baking with my Huda Beauty powder in the shade of Blondie. I've already distributed it into the cap, and I'm gonna bake the sides of my nose and also under my eye. I'm trying to keep my bake pretty contained to the center of my eye in an effort to not make my face too matte by applying the bake where I added my blush and bronzer all the way out here. Of course, I want to make sure I'm getting all under the crease of my eye, but I'm mainly just trying to bake the center of my face, like I said. Always going to bake the upper lip. And I'm going to get the center of my forehead and where my eyebrows are as well. I'm also going to use this powder to sharpen where I contoured. Using my Charlotte Tilbury brush again, I'm going to pretty much immediately wipe off that bake because I want to sharpen it, but I don't want it to be too harsh. I'm also going to use it to soften the edges of my bake and press the powder on my forehead in. I'm also going back in with the brush I used for the powder that is the same shade as my skin tone, and we're just pressing this here so that it's not too bright. I'm also going to bronze my face now. I'm going to use the LYS Beauty Powder Bronzer on an angled Sephora brush. This one doesn't have a number on it. I believe it was from like a set or something, but it's just an angled bronzer brush. And I'm going to apply this to my cheekbones. I'm not going in with too heavy of a hand because of how this area is not like 100% set, and I don't want it to become muddy, which it low-key is, but it's okay. Also hitting the perimeter of my forehead. You'll know how much I love a bronzed forehead. I'm getting close to the center of my forehead, but not too close. Now I'm going to press in the baking powder, and then with my Charlotte Tilbury brush again, wiping away any excess. Okay, I feel like that helped the bronzer not look too muddy. For my blush today, I actually pulled out quite the variety of shades in order to get that kind of cherry mocha, pomegranate, brownish, cherry red type of shade. The first shade I'm actually going to use is a bronzer. This is the NYX Buttermelt bronzer in the shade Butter Than You. This bronzer is extremely warm, so I don't know that it's much of a bronzer. To me, it almost looks more like a blush. See, as you can see, it's very, very warm, and I think it makes for a beautiful blush. And I'm applying this to the high points of my cheeks and gradually coming closer towards my under eye. This is actually pretty much spot on with the shade that I was going for like a reddish brown shade. I just can't believe that this is a bronzer. I actually used it as a bronzer before and I was like, oh, I like it. I think it went with the look that I was going for, but looking at it as a blush, I'm like, this is a blush. I'm also gonna go in with the smallest amount of Watermelon Bliss from House Labs. I'm taking it on this Makeup by Ariel brush and I'm just dusting it over the cheeks to bring out those red tones a little bit more. Not too much of that. I'm also gonna hit the tip of my nose. Why not? I think that's cute and festive. Last but not least, I'm going to go in with Ruby Riches from Fenty Beauty. This is actually a highlighter, but as you can see, it has a lot of pigment to it. I'm going to take this on a highlighter brush and apply it to the high points of my cheeks. I'm kind of looking at where the light naturally hits my face and I'm applying this highlighter there. I think a shade like this is absolutely stunning over this blush. I feel like it really brings out the shades. And then it's giving me the glow that I want. Because as you guys know, I'm not going for too matte of a look. I don't know that I would consider this dewy necessarily, but I do want kind of a glow from within kind of look. And then with my Real Techniques setting brush, I'm going in to the Charlotte Tilbury brightening powder, and I'm going to brighten up my under eye and blend it into the blush. To melt all these powders together, I'm going to take my Morphe Continuous Setting Mist again, and I'm going to melt all these powders together. And then once this dries, we will move on to the eyes. I'm going to prime my eyes really quick with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion and come back. Okay, I zoomed you in a little bit so that we can do the eyes together. As you can see, the powders melted together beautifully. Like, I just love that setting mist so much. So for my palette of choice today, we are using the NARS Afterglow Irresistible palette. This is such a beautiful, gorgeous palette that I think is perfect for a holiday makeup look. I was kind of going back and forth about whether I wanted a shimmer on the lid type of look, but I think that's what we're gonna go for. I was kind of going between that and kind of like a spotlight halo eye. I feel like the eyes should stand out but still be minimal. So the first shade that I'm gonna go for is this dark brown here. I believe this is the shade Midnight, and I'm getting it on a fluffy eyeshadow blending brush. I'm gonna use the mirror in the palette, and I'm gonna apply this first to the outer corner of my eye. And I'm using a pretty light hand with this to make sure that we don't create any harsh lines. I honestly don't want to use too many different shades today so that you guys are easily able to recreate this look whether you have this palette or not. I highly recommend it, of course, but you don't really have to get things that I use in order to recreate these looks. Of course, I love them and recommend them, but don't feel like you have to go and buy them. And then on a little bit of a fluffier brush, I'm going to take the shade right above it. This is the shade Take a Shot. It's kind of a warmer brown, and I'm gonna use it in my crease with a light hand again. And also to just blend out that darker shade, I'm also going to smoke it out a little bit on the end. Okay, I just did this on my other eye, and now we're gonna go into the shimmer on the lid. Please don't be mad at me, y'all, but I am gonna use the new Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos. This one is in the shade Still at the Club. I know there was a lot of controversy over how expensive these are, and because I'm a creator, I'm so lucky and blessed to get sent stuff like this for free. So this product was sent to me. I did not purchase it. However, that did not change my opinion on it at all. I do love this eyeshadow so much, and I definitely don't think you need to get all of them. And also, it's the holidays. Maybe put it on a holiday wish list so that someone else can get it for you if you don't want to buy it yourself. But this is a really beautiful shadow duo. Like, do you see those shades? I'm gonna go in with the shade on the bottom first, and I'm using a bit of a fluffier brush for this. And I'm just going to apply that to my lid. The NARS palette also has a brown shimmer in it, so if you want to, you can definitely use that one. But for this look, I want a shimmer that is really intense. And I'm going back in with my other brushes to kind of blend the edges out so that it's not too sharp or precise. Honestly, let's go in with the finger. I feel like that might apply the shimmer a little bit better. Yeah. That is giving what I wanted it to give. I'm gonna apply this to the other eye with my finger. And now to really take it there, I'm gonna go in with the top shade, which is more of a scattered glitter. And, ooh, like, do you see that? Wow. These eyeshadows are it. They're everything because, wow, this formula is different. And then again, since this look is all about the shimmer, all about the glitter, I'm actually going to do a shimmery inner corner. I'm going back into the NARS palette and using the lightest shimmer. I believe this is the shade Adoration. And I'm going to apply this to my inner corner and blend it into the shimmer on my lid. I'm also going to use that first dark brown shade that we used on the outer corner, and I'm going to use it to smoke out my lower lash line, just the outer half. And then I'm going to use the lighter brown shade that we used in the crease as well. And I'm using that on the inner half of my waterline. Okay, my eyes are all finished. I never truly know if I like my eyeshadow look until I put on a pair of lashes, I swear, and the lashes took it there. These are the Lily lashes in the style Miami Flare. I cut them into almost half because I really wanted you to be able to see the front of my eye look, so these are mostly just on the ends of my eyes, and I think it's Gorgiana, stunning. Okay, for my lips, I pulled out all of my like berry and brownish red shades because I have a specific look in mind that I'm going for. Let's hope I can get the look that I'm going for. I'm gonna start by lining my lips with MAC Chestnut. This is a really warm toned, almost reddish brown shade. Cute. I'm also gonna fill in the corners. And then now I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Universal Earth. This shade is too light for me to use it on its own, but I think it'll be a really good like transition color. Yeah, like that is gorge. My lips are a little dry, so please excuse that. And I'm just using my finger to blend those two shades together and towards the center of my lips. That, like, that's the color I was going for. And honestly, I'm gonna use this shade to kind of fill in my lips. And then again, using my finger to just blend it out. I'm gonna go back in with Chestnut and make sure to define the outer part of my lips. I think I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Fenty Beauty's Browned Out. My pencil is so low. I think I should even sharpen it now, child. My pencil has gotten so low because I use this lip liner so much. It's also so creamy, so I have to sharpen it so often. Also just kind of using it on the edges to make sure it's really defined. Yeah. And then, oh, I don't know what gloss to go for. I have the e.l.f. lip oil in the shade Gem Session. I feel like this one's a little bit more berry. It's cute. I also have the Patrick Ta lip gloss in the shade Want Her. Like, is that not everything? And then I also have the Ole Henriksen Pout Preserve in the shade Cocoa Cream. I think this is what I'm going to use because this I feel like might be too opaque. I think she might be too opaque. So I'm going to go in with this first. Too brown. Okay, I saved everybody time and used the same two lip liners again. I fear I might have been wrong about this e.l.f. lip oil. I think both of the other glosses might be too opaque for my liking, so I'm gonna try with this e.l.f. lip oil. I feel like this is the look I was definitely going for. And then to be safe, or to be extra, however you want to interpret it, I'm going to take this Huda Beauty gloss in the shade Cocoa. And I'm going to use it to line my lips because I still really want the brown part to show. And honestly, why not get a little bit of the Patrick Ta gloss? Let's see what it looks like in the center. Literally the same, so it's not necessary. I'm not gonna add any more of that. Friend, you almost let me finish my makeup look without highlighting my nose. I'm glad I remembered. I'm gonna use the same shade that we used in our inner corner from the NARS palette, and I'm just going to highlight the tip of my nose and also the bridge. Just really lightly. We don't want it to be too intense. And this is the completed makeup look. I hope you guys love this look. I think this is so pretty and festive without your traditional red lip. I feel like it's very 2024. I feel like the girls are into more like reddish brown shades. I really love how this look came out. I wasn't sure where I was going with it at first, but it came out really cute. Definitely let me know what you think of this look in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you also turn on the post notification bell so that you don't miss another video from me. I hope you guys like the look as I said, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you, bye!